Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good.
I
I
think
haven't
I'm,
played Phoenix in a long time, but I thought I'd take advantage of this.
well, I hope a couple more people show up. Um, so I'm just going to give it a minute because I know the other one just finished.
Yeah, while we're waiting, do you what do you think about Phoenix in the off lane?
I think he's amazing. I think there are a couple of matchups that don't work very well, but I think there are a lot of matchups that he works really well at.
If you aren't gonna cover it in the thing coming up, what are the matchups that you like and don't like? Like, are you do you do Phoenix in the off lane, or are you mostly the four man?
I will do either. It depends on the group and what they want to do. I am going to talk about it a little bit, but
Okay, that's fine. I won't
specific things I don't
say it
like
twice.
are Imperious because Phoenix's hitbox is so huge, it's really hard to miss. And Alarak because he has point and click, you don't get any shields. So
Mm,
it's hard to trade into him. Because normally I like to trade shields for HP.
right.
And if you can't regenerate your shields, you just have to go all the way behind your wall and wait forever. It sucks. But yeah, I'm going to give it, I don't know, 2 more minutes, see if anyone shows up, and then I'll just go into what I had planned. I am going to be streaming it on Twitch if you want to follow there. I don't know how to stream on Discord.
Oh, streaming on Twitch. Okay, I will
I just put,
fire
my
that
nickname
up.
is the link. And you can let me know if I'm, all the sounds should be coming through, but I have it muted, obviously, so I don't echo.
You said the nickname's in the link.
My nickname is the Twitch.
Oh,
My Discord nickname.
I don't know if I'm looking in the right. Oh, okay. Twitch TV 18. Got it.
Oh, we had Ark for a second, but he's gone. Everyone's in Dev 1, but there's nothing on the list that says anything's happening in Dev 1. What's going on?
Let's see. The spreadsheet says a couple things got moved because um,
Yeah.
let's see. A Diablo overview is happening in Dev 2, and then you are in Dev 3.
Yeah, and then there was a third one, but it got moved. So I don't know what's going on. Anyway, doesn't matter. All right, I guess I'm just going to talk to you. So is the Twitch working?
I'm in. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and you can hear everything through the Twitch. I don't stream, so I hope I don't mess
Yep.
this all up. Okay, cool. So I thought the first thing I would do is really quickly just uh, go over his abilities really simply. This is for anyone watching, not just you. We don't need an ally. So obviously his first ability, Plasma Cutter, it'll slow enemies and deal damage. The slow really helps you, especially in the offlane. You can see Arthas, he can't get close to me. Second ability, you can switch weapons.
First blood.
You can go fast and single target, or slow range, more damage AoE. I would recommend using Pulse Phase Bomb against 3 or more targets. It does the most damage. But if you're going for a single pick, obviously go for the repeater cannon. And then Warp is his most amazing tool.
Show no mercy.
It has a long cooldown. It didn't used to be this long when he first came out, and it doesn't go very far. But the talents that sync with it are amazing, and he can escape so many things, and that's why Valk hates him. I'm actually going to try something here. My Twitch should be going blank, but
You just went blank there.
perfect. What am I looking for?
Oh no. Are
It
they gonna
should
pick a
come
kill
up.
on?
Okay, this is a clip I have from an NGS game that Maestro, or what's his name, King Andrew was casting. Being slightly out of position, they're coming in with.
No, are they gonna pick up a kill on 10? 10 is gone. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, so it's the last rites. Warp will dodge anything, pretty much.
Wow, so you got out of last rights. Okay.
Yeah, as long as while you were warping, it's 0.75 seconds. You're invincible. Nothing can hit you. Dots don't do damage during that time. They won't go away, but you will not take damage. Your shields will continue to regenerate while you're warping. So if you have a dot on you that will kill you, a warp can buy you enough time to stay alive. It'll dodge last rites, it'll dodge charges, it'll dodge roots. As long as you don't get knocked out of it, it is amazing. Anyway, so I'm going to talk
You've impressed me here.
a little bit about builds. I'm just going to turn the sound off because I don't care. There are two main builds that I like to use. And really, unless there's a reason, I would not use any other talents. All of Phoenix's talents are amazing, except mobile offense. It has no purpose for anything. And emergency protocol. Mobile offense is level 1. After moving, you do 35% more damage. It sounds kind of cool because you can always stutter and get 35% more damage all the time. But the other two are just even more amazing.
Yeah, I feel like mobile offense used to be the pick at some point, wasn't it?
I don't know. I don't think so. I know some people might disagree with me, but when I show you the warp build, you'll see why it doesn't fit there. And for the AoE plasma cutter build, you obviously want more plasma cutter. And then his other most useless talent is emergency protocol. 10% movement speed is not terrible, but 15 when you lose your shields is nothing, because it's not 15 more, it's 15 total, so it's hardly more than 10. And target acquired, if you hit one attack on someone's load, you're already moving at 10%, and if you hit 2, it's 20, and it goes up to 40%. I'm not looking at the right thing. Sorry, target acquired. And 40% movement speed is huge. Anyway, so for the first build, it's the warp reset build that I like to use. I like advanced targeting, and a lot of people disagree with me on that. They like Arsenal Synergy, which is fun, don't get me wrong. If you take Arsenal Synergy and you find a hero, it does a lot of damage. You can weaken them, lower them, and then when they try to escape, switch, and you just, he blocked stupid Arthas. That's not helping, but it'll do.
Oh, hold on, I'm not seeing anything on your Twitch right
you know what? I didn't switch back. That's why. I'm told you I'm bad at this. Here's the star. Okay, sorry. You should see it now.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, so you see Arthas. He's taking a little bit of damage. I switch, and he blocks again. Oh, I hate block talents. 300 damage, right? And instead of normally you're doing 117. So once they start escaping, you switch. You have longer range. You get that last hit. It's a big hit, and it's a good talent. But it's good for early game mostly, and for getting those surprise kills.
We're talking about Arsenal Synergy, correct?
Yeah, Arsenal Synergy. It's good early game. If one Phoenix takes advanced targeting and the other takes Arsenal Synergy, the one taking Arsenal Synergy will win early, and advanced targeting you'll usually win late, because it's stacking talent.
Right.
If you can get it all the way to 120, which is the max, it does the most damage of any of the level 1 talents.
Now, would you take advanced targeting if you were solo laning?
Yes, I do. The biggest reason I take it, so it can do the most damage. You usually don't stack it up. Every time I do stack it up, it's in a game where they don't ever die and we end up losing. So usually games where it finishes are games we lose. But it gives you that extra plasma cutter circle, which does more damage by itself. So that makes up for the little bit of damage you're not getting early once you get to 30 stacks. So 30 stacks is what you're aiming for. And also what that does is, you see how long plasma cutter lasts? That's how long they're slowed, plus 4 more seconds. So you're slowing them for like 8 seconds. And if you're chasing somebody, they're never getting away. If you're, well, once you get level 4, let me just set it to 20 because who cares? Once you get level 4, you go target acquired. Where is Arthas? Come here, I need to hit you. You hit them once, you slow them down, and you attack them. It's Arthas, so he's slowing me down, so that doesn't really show it off. But then you get 40% movement. So you know what? I'm tired of Arthas. We need somebody else.
Click back onto the level 4 talents real quick.
Yeah. So if you hit someone slowed with repeater cannon, you get 10% movement speed stacking up to 40%. Right. So when a Nubarak gets here, there he is. You know, I'm standing here dealing damage. Maybe I'm low. I want to run away. I run super fast. If he's running away, I chase super fast. And so it's an amazing talent.
Okay.
Then at 7, I'm looking at the wrong build. Warp Warfare is the only talent to go for the Warp Reset build because that's what it's based on. You get 175% attack speed for 4 seconds, and if you kill someone, you reset your warp. Now, that sounds really, really good, but you have to keep in mind that Repeater Cannon increases your attack speed by 150%. So you're really going from 250 to 425. So it sounds like it's almost 3 times damage, but it's really more like 2 and a bit.
Right.
But he's under a tower, so it doesn't matter. But he's going to take a lot of damage. Plus, you warp and then Q Plasma Cutter. You can chase them down. If you went too deep, you can run away. And when you kill him, you get another warp, and then you can kill the next person.
So that's some fast auto attacks that are also dealing 200 a pop almost. I guess we're at level 20.
Yeah, well, this is level 20, but where am I looking for? I'm looking for cooldowns. You're attacking a little over 3 times a second.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see this, for the 4 seconds that you have it, you know, I just did 2,500 damage against one person without using Plasma Cutter, without all the other talents.
And they can't run away because you've got move speed.
Yeah. So you're going to have to, if you're chasing them, you're going to have to stutter. But once you figure out how to do that, you know, they can't get away. The only thing that's going to stop you is, you know, CC or peels or something. At 10, I almost always go Planet Cracker, which, again, a little bit of controversy, but I mean, that's just too awesome, right?
So now, as a solo laner, I would feel like Planet Cracker could be pretty cool because if they just call out for Planet Cracker, no matter what I'm doing, I can just, you know, knock over a target that they CC.
Exactly.
From anywhere, right?
I'm switching the view again. I'm just letting it catch up. I have another video to show. So this is my solo laner Planet. Like, I am not with the team. They're fighting, they're engaging, they're using their ults. And I can do huge damage from the other side of the map.
That's gross.
I'm just going to let that play one more time. Yeah, so as a solo laner, I love Planet Cracker. And not only can you help out the team, sometimes you can peel, like you can zone with it. If you're in trouble on your own, and you need a warp reset and you like wasted it, or you know you warped and they backed off and you didn't get a kill, and you're in trouble. If your team is about to kill someone, you can Planet Cracker the person they're killing. You don't have to actually get the kill. You just need to do a little bit of damage. That kill will reset your warp.
Can you? I can't remember, but I assume you can stop your Planet Cracker early.
Yeah, after about a second.
Right.
It cancels, and you can do a little damage and run away. So if they're about to kill someone and you need a warp reset, you just go like that.
Yeah.
You get stunned. You cancel it, and when they get that kill, you get the warp reset, and then you can go over the wall. So it's versatile if you're watching the map. You have to be watching. If you're not watching, then it doesn't help you. But also, if they're low, so there's two ways I use it in team fights. If we don't have a wombo combo set up, and one is like just at the start. You can do that. They get low, and then you warp in, finish them off, warp on the next guy, finish them off, right? The other is, you're at the team fight, you're weakening them, and then someone gets low, you warp in, you go for the kill, but you don't quite get it, and then your attack speed wears off, and they're running away because they're low. You can snipe someone, and that can get you the warp to escape. And the reason I don't like let's reset here. Purification salvo for this build is usually you use it as a finisher. Like if they're low, you can kill them off. If you use it at the beginning, like this, they just back off. They heal up for a few seconds, and then it doesn't do anything. Like that didn't do very much damage. So you're going to be sitting back, poking, and then once they're low, you're going to warp in. That was a terrible warp. You're going to warp in on top of them. And then if you do that and then this, you lose all that attack speed time with the charge up of it. So for the warp reset build, it doesn't do very much damage. It doesn't help you very much. It's not terrible. It's still a good ult, but it doesn't synergize with what you're trying to do. Okay, and then 13 is where the build really comes online, because you get a Danian shell.
Click on that. What does it do?
Yeah. So when you warp, you gain 50 armor for 4 seconds.
Oh, wow.
So what this does is you don't die ever. Like, you can be the engage for your team, because you warp in. They think, oh, Fenix is an idiot. He just warped in. And they throw all their damage on you. They try to kill you, but you have 50 armor. You're not taking any damage, right? Well, you are, but you're taking way less than they expect. And then you attack, you get the autos in, and then your armor wears off, and you run the heck away. They just burned a whole lot more than your team did. I wouldn't usually recommend you being the engage for your team, but you can.
I'm like, that sounds sketchy.
I've done it. It's worked. I've done it. It's failed. But what you're really going to be doing is hopefully have a tank or someone engage. You're going to be sitting back here poking until they're low, right? And then once they're low, you hopefully haven't taken too much damage. You warp in, and they're low too, and then you just don't die, and they die.
Do your Genji impersonation.
Exactly. I was going to say, like, Fenix becomes Genji at that point. You can warp over walls and get kills and come back. It's amazing. At 16, I personally like offensive cadence. Every third attack does 6% of their maximum health. Keep in mind, with the attack speed, you're attacking 3 times a second. So that's
Every second.
6% a second on top of your normal damage. So if I take this and I ignore him because this new rec doesn't count, and I attack a target dummy, all of a sudden, in that 4 seconds, I'm doing 4,500 instead of 2,500. It almost doubles your damage against big health. And against low health, it's still huge. Like, yes, it's percent damage, but low health people still take way more than they expect.
Hitting them for a good amount, so that extra amount's gonna put the fear.
Yeah, okay. You have to go away, noob. I'm just going to kill him really quick, and then I'm going to attack the target dummy one more time. Because normally when I warp, right after I warp, I will use my plasma cutter to slow him down. So you do that, and then you have 4 seconds of damage, and that's 5,000 damage. That will kill just about anybody from full health. If they have armor, obviously the normal damage will do less, but if they have armor, they're probably Garrosh, and percent damage is huge, or they're Deathwing, and it's huge. So you can melt a Deathwing in 5 or 6 seconds from full health by yourself, if they're not stunning you out of it. The other option is at 16 to take what is it? Yeah, Arsenal Overcharge, where you reduce your ability cooldowns. And that's, I would only ever do that if I'm not planning to really get kills, because you can warp in, you know, do damage. Oh, I need to turn off cooldowns.
So that might be like a BOE build, right? Where you're trying to hit
the immortal, yeah.
the objective.
So what you can do with this build is really nice is camps. So this bruiser camp, you know, you go in, you get a huge attack speed. Oh, noob, go away. 1 second. Bye. It's going to reset the camp. I don't know if the whole thing is going to come back or not, but let's pretend this is a full camp.
Right.
You warp in, you drop your laser, you attack. Your laser comes off cooldown basically as soon as it ends. You do a second laser, and your warps back up. And, you know, you're doing pretty decent damage. You're not taking very much because you have armor. Obviously, I had no shields when I started this. And then by the time you're done, all of your abilities are off cooldown.
Yeah.
And you didn't really lose anything. You lost a little bit of shields, and the camp's done. It takes, how long was that? Like 15 seconds for a bruiser camp, and for a siege camp, a little less, obviously. And you don't have to even use the second warp if you want to save it, but obviously you can. It's a good talent, but I still prefer the offensive because killing players is more important than killing camps. But BOE, it can be really good, and something like Garden of Terror, if you're the camp person, it can be really good there too. And then at 20, you always take Unconquered Spirit for this build. You just do, unless they have a Varian or a Moralis that blows up shields.
Right. Okay, so if they do have that, what are your other options that you like?
Well, all of his 20s are amazing. Singularity Charge, more attack damage. Again, it says 100%, but you're already attacking at 250, so it goes from 250 to 350. But that's still like 40% more attack speed. And Phase Bomb with range is amazing, so you can, on a team fight, you can stand further back, be safer. So that's really good. Secondary Fire, you have the 3 plasma cutter spins, and everyone is doing extra damage, and everyone is 50% more than it says. So actually, if I reset and go like this, and then I make an enemy hero, I don't care who it is. Let's wait for the enemy hero to get here.
Except Avatar.
Although, you know what? I don't need an enemy hero. I have target damage. See, I don't do this very often. To just watch the laser damage, it basically doubles it. You know, 290 to 260. That's, in a full laser, it's going to spin 3 times. That's 1,000 damage per hero, just from the laser.
Ult upgrade ever a thing? If they're killing your shields, but like
that one's new. It's fun for like ARAMs. If you have a Wombo setup, like if you have like a Leoric or an ETC or both, it's really great. But most of the time I wouldn't go for it. The others are so much better. But actually, I was thinking about a build where you do this. So you use your. I'm gonna do it from over here. You use your ult. You know, there it goes, really wide, and then once it's done, you can be attacking camps. You can be attacking waves. You do the cooldown reduction at 16, and you have the ult upgrade. If you constantly are attacking, you can do Planet Cracker every 25 seconds.
Wait, is that because you're level? Wait, which one's the 16? Can you check?
Sorry. Whenever you attack anything, all of your cooldowns are reduced by 0.5 seconds. If you use Phase Bomb, it only affects heroes.
Oh, it's not basic abilities.
And that includes your ult. So,
Okay.
25-second ultra wide Planet Crackers is
And
a thing.
it's 25 seconds because of the cooldown reduction. You get a 20, right?
Yeah. So 20 makes it so it goes down by 40 seconds, and then your 16 makes it go down by basically
So
half.
16 is still reducing it no matter if you
Yeah.
take the level 20 upgrade.
Yeah.
So if you're offlaning with Phoenix in a coordinated game, not like a Storm League, but a coordinated game, do you like your 4-man to have a beefier, like someone beefy along with the tank because you're playing a ranged, relatively low health pool hero?
I do. I like having a big front line that I can hide behind, poke, and then once they're low, I can just go in for the kill and just do something like that. It's not always necessary, but obviously a beefier team is a better team. I love Phoenix against low health enemy teams because you can just warp on top of them and kill them before they realize what's happened. Like an Alex Straza will just disintegrate. She can't do anything to you, even in dragon form.
And you're getting some good AoE with your laser.
I mean, I've had Tin do that to me when I was Muradin in Avatar form, so I don't know that they have to be the squishiest backline.
No, it's true. With the percent damage, he can melt anybody, but other people, like some heroes, melt faster than others. And just as a note, if anyone isn't in the stream, I'm streaming on Twitch with my my username is the link. So yeah, I'm going to switch the view over again. I'm slow at this, so 1 second. And I'm going to do a couple more clips. It takes a second for it to realize what's going on. Come on. Don't make me look bad. There we go. It won't be perfectly centered, but you should be able to see. This is how I use Planet Cracker in a team fight. I'm not sure what level this is, but I open with the Cracker and then I go in for the cleanup afterwards. So we're sharking around, waiting for the opportunity. I'm staying way back. Earthquake, Planet Cracker, doing some damage. We do get one kill, but they're all, half or lower. And then you just warp in on top of them. Medivh actually messed me up a bit there because I was going to kill Morales, but we killed Artanis. Then I warp onto Morales, and she knocked me back, but there's not much she can do to escape.
Right. Yeah, she's not gonna live.
And then I have another clip. Hopefully this loads quicker. Okay. This is why 50 armor is important. So you go in, you get a kill. They're all behind their keeps now. I'm taking keep shots. And then I warp on top of their towers. And if I didn't have that 50 armor, you can't go that deep. You're dead already. Some people like to go the auto attacks, increase your shields. But it's only 10% of the damage you do. So in order to balance out, you need to be doing 10 times more damage than the enemies, and that's never going to happen. So
And
armor.
If you get stunned.
Pardon? Yeah,
And if you get stunned, you're worse off.
for sure. And with the 50 armor, Phoenix is really weak to CC. That's the best way to counter him. But with 50 armor, even if you do get CC'd, you won't blow up right away. So that's always the play, is 50 armor. And then the 20, why you take Unconquered Spirit and nothing else. So you can do stuff like this. This is just disgusting. As long as you can dodge some things. But I should be dead right here. But instead, with 50 armor and the Unconquered Spirit, you're basically at 80% health. Even when you look like you're almost dead. And you can just juke people around, doesn't get the kills, and they can't do much to stop you. Hopefully you all saw that.
It's not a bad clip.
It's one of my favorites, having like 100 health and killing 4 people. Um, that doesn't happen all the time, but when they think they can kill you, they'll stay longer. And when you have an extra half of your health bar that they don't see, it turns fights right around. So that's the warp build. The other build that is popular, that actually is more popular, I don't do it very often because I love the warp. It's just fun. Like, who doesn't like being Genji and warping over walls? But the other one is the Plasma Cutter sort of spell damage AoE build. You take the same level 1 advanced targeting for more Plasma Cutters. I like to go the same level 4 because the movement speed is awesome. If you do go, I'm just making a note, if you do go for the level 1 where it's Arsenal Synergy, then I can see a call for Phase Bomb at level 4. So Arsenal Synergy, obviously, 3 basic attacks, and your Phase Bomb does a whole bunch more damage. At level 4, Inhibiting Energy is new. This is the last patch they gave him. Like, they keep patching Fenix with these little things, and they're usually buffs. This one was a bit of a side grade. But every 10 seconds, your next Phase Bomb will slow for a bunch. The problem is you can't really control it. If you use Phase Bomb, it goes on cooldown. So the only way to like control when you're going to do it is to not use Phase Bomb, just sit on Repeater Cannon. And so if you're going,
Level 1, yeah.
if you're going the level 1 where you're, where is it, level 1? Arsenal Synergy, you're going to be on Repeater Cannon until you want to do a bunch of damage. So I'm just going to reset again. And then if we had an enemy hero, wait for him to show up. You sit on Repeater Cannon. Here he is. You do a bunch of damage. You're doing a little bit of slow with your thing, and then when he tries to escape, which he might not do because he's AI, you switch and you hit him. He takes a bunch of damage and a big slow. It kind of works. It's not my favorite. So anyway, same level 1, same level 4. At 7, you take combat advantage. You do more damage AoE with the Plasma Cutter. And this is where I would go Purification Salvo. Because your goal here, you're not the finisher here, you're just the sustained damage. So you're hitting the whole team with Phase Bombs. You're using lasers to hit their whole team. And you're slowing their whole team, and then you go in for the ult, and you do a whole bunch of damage to them. And with this one, your level 13 doesn't matter quite as much, because you're not going to be warping on top of them, so you don't need the armor. If you're warping to escape, the armor doesn't do anything, right? So you can go anything you want. Spell armor is nice for team fights, because if Kael'thas drops a living bomb on you, you don't take quite as much damage. But if you're solo lane, rapid recharge is nice, because it cuts down the time you need to wait to regenerate your shields. And auxiliary shields just gives you more shields to play with, which is also kind of nice. So it's personal preference for this build. At 16, I would always go cooldown reduction for this, because as I said before, if you go cooldown reduction, even against minions, even against players, against camps, whatever, if you're attacking, your Plasma Cutter, I need to complete quest, sorry. Your Plasma Cutter is almost always ready to go. By the time it wears off, you have maybe 2 seconds before you can just drop another one, and it does a ton of damage. And then at 20, you go missiles, and then let my cooldowns come up. Okay, let the dummy damage reset. Imagine this is an enemy team. Like, you're attacking, you're doing the lasers. Look how much damage you do with one laser, 8,000. And you can just do it right again. It is so much damage. And then you drop your ult, and it's another, 16? It's another 4,000 damage. You can wreck teams with this. And that's what most players I see go with. And honestly, if you could have 2 Phoenixes on a team, I would make one do each build. One weakens them, and the other warps on top of them to kill them all. But there are other heroes that do those things, so it depends on what your team comp is and what your other players are willing to do. If you have a Genji to finish people, you can go the AoE build. If you have like a Jaina to weaken them, you can go the warp build. They're both great. And that's one of the best things about Fenix is he's super versatile. He can be part of the 4-man and do a ton of damage. He can be in the solo lane where, again, as I said earlier, you trade out. You know, you go in, you're taking some damage, they're taking some damage, your shields get low, you back off. They're at half health or whatever. They might have to tap, they might have to hearth. You just wait. And if they're like melee, you can poke while you wait. And then you're back to full health, you go back in again and you trade again. And you can clear waves faster than most people. Like, obviously a Kael'thas can blow up a wave, and Orphea can blow up a wave, but then everything's on cooldown. For Fenix, you just attack a few times and the wave's gone and you didn't use anything. So in the solo lane, he's great. In the off lane, in the team fights for solo picks, if someone's out of position and you're alone, you can just warp on top of them and kill them. Almost always. 1v1, he doesn't really lose against almost anything. He does have some weaknesses though. So with warp, there's a 5-second warm-up time. If you get knocked back, stunned, sleep, silenced, anything, if you get pulled by Alarak, if Lucio boops you, your warp goes on cooldown. And it's not like Butcher where you can just get it back instantly. It goes on the full 17-second cooldown. So it's huge. If you mistime your warp, you're dead every time, whether you're going in or out. So you really have to know what CC the enemy team has, when they've used it, when it's on cooldown. That's a big part of Fenix. Other weaknesses, as I was saying before, anyone that can poke from long range to lower his shields. Alarak is annoying as heck to solo lane against, because unless you go all the way behind your wall where he can't see you, you're never getting your shields up. Junkrat's annoying too. If like you have a huge hitbox, it's not hard to land grenades. So again, you're never getting your shields up unless you're going all the way back, and he can shoot over walls. So it's a pain in the butt. Imperius is a personal annoyance of mine. You can outlane him, but your hitbox is so big, it's hard for him to miss. And if he lands a Q, you just have to run away as fast as you can, because he's going to trade better than you. As far as what map to pick Fenix on, he's good on every map, except really Battlefield of Eternity. That's not his best. Because normally you want like your auto attackers to be good at attacking the Immortal, and if you go the warp build, you know, at 7 you can do some decent damage for 4 seconds, but you need more sustain for that. He has no special against minion or AI talents, so he doesn't do a lot. He can be good race later, if you, as you were saying before, if you go the cooldown reduction, he's pretty good, but that happens at 16, right? The map's basically over by then. So he's not terrible on the map. He's good in the solo lane on the map, but his race isn't good. I've had teams be like, Fenix, go race the Immortal. And it's just like, I'm the worst one on the team to be doing that. It's kind of like with like Mephisto or Orphea, where they're really, really good, but against other players. Like I can burn down players, but I can't burn down objectives. He's decent for defending it because you can be at range, but again, there's better people for that too. His best map is Braxis. I think people know that. People supposed to tell you that like he's good on Braxis, but you know, if you're taking Fenix, you're planning to lose the objective. And I don't buy that, because you're not planning to, you're just aware that it's possible. Like if two teams are equally skilled, there's a chance that you're going to lose objectives. And if you do, I have a clip for this actually.
If you do, Planet Cracker.
Where is it? Yeah, you can Planet Cracker the wave. I'm just going to let this catch up. Every time I switch to a video, it takes a minute for Obs to figure it out.
Really stole your thunder there.
Sorry?
Sorry.
He really stole your thunder there.
That's all right. So this is a wave, and the easiest way to planet cracker a wave is if it has a long way to go, because the wave will all line up while it's walking. Once it starts engaging, it'll spread out, right? So if they win the objective, you want the lane to be as close to your wall as possible. So the objective is coming. I back up. We have no more wave. They've killed it off. And so all of the Zerg are coming in a straight line. So you can hit all of the Hydralisks, you can kill off the Guardians, and you half kill the Ultralisks with one ability.
Wow.
And you have to line it up properly, but it makes the defense so easy. And even if you're winning the wave, they still get some Zerg in the other lane. You can planet cracker it from the other side of the map, and you can still get value from it. Plus, you can use it on their team. Like, it's just, he's great in the solo lane on that map. He's great in the team on that map, and his ult is really good on the objective. So there's no reason not to take Fenix for that map. There really
do you
isn't.
ever take him, or do you ever, when you're soloing top, use his warp to quickly rotate down to make it like a 5v4? Or?
Yeah, I do. But because with the warp build at go, you have 4 seconds to do damage and kill people and get out. I usually only warp over a wall if the enemy team is near that wall, so that I can get the value. Occasionally, I might use warp to move faster, but I try not to because it is all of his power. Like, if you're going the warp reset build, your warp is an attack ability. You can use it as an escape or mobility ability, but then you basically don't have any talents. You're basically level 1 until your warp comes back, and that's not the best way to engage the enemy team, right? I'm trying to think what else I had.
I had a couple questions.
Yeah.
While you're thinking about that. Can you click on the talents and go to level 7?
Yeah, what do you want to see?
Let's see. Divert power weapons. Can you talk about that?
Sure. It is great. It's an amazing talent. All of his level 7s are amazing. I'll take it right now and use it. You use it, you attack. You don't lose any shields. You used to lose them right away. As long as you're fighting, you're just doing 40% more damage, and that's amazing. Even if you lose your shields, you have the attack damage, as long as you're hitting a hero. And then obviously, once it wears off, like you can see the bar right here, once that goes away, your shields go away. But your shields are regenerating. So even if they go away, they immediately are coming right back, as long as you haven't taken damage. So it's a great talent. It's just, if you're going the warp reset build, you need warp warfare. You just can't go without it. And if you're going the plasma cutter build, you need combat advantage. So for those two builds, it doesn't fit, which is annoying. But it doesn't mean it's not bad. If you go reset, if you go Arsenal Synergy, Phase Bomb, Divert Power Weapons, that's a decent build by itself. You're not getting any special Plasma Cutter ability, but you can see once you switch weapons with that, I just did almost 600 damage AoE.
Yeah.
It's a lot of damage. And I'm probably messing that up.
Divert power is only to heroes, right?
No, you gain 40% attack damage against anything, but hitting a hero will refresh the 5-second duration.
Okay.
So,
But it doesn't work with your ult, all right? It's just auto attack.
just auto attacks, yeah. Basic attack damage. If you have a wombo combo setup you're trying to go for, you can actually take photonic weaponry. That will increase the power of your ult by 20% if you have shields, which you should. If your plan is to get one big combo, that can be useful. But if your plan is, if you think they're going to live through that combo, the other ones are better.
Speaking of which, the first build you were talking about was the warp reset build.
Yeah.
And click on that again. Let me see the 16 talents.
Oh, offensive cadence.
Yeah. So you were talking about sometimes Arsenal overcharge, sometimes offensive cadence. Is it offensive cadence that you mostly go with the warp reset?
Yes. There are times when I might take Arsenal overcharge. Usually it's when I want to do camps faster. Or if their whole team is really squishy and I really don't need the percent damage, it can be okay. Or again, Battlefield of Eternity, you might want to take it just for more immortal damage.
Okay.
But
mostly offensive cadence.
If the enemy team is any good, killing the players is way more important. Arsenal Overcharge is a PvE ability. It really is.
Right.
You can use it against players. It does obviously benefit, but your cooldown resets are going to come from killing people for your warp, and Plasma Cutter, it's low enough that you're going to have it when you need it usually. So doing way more damage is more important.
Got it.
I had a question about, I think it's level 1s, and I apologize if you already talked about this. I wasn't here kind of at the beginning.
That's fine.
Is mobile offense still bugged like it used to be?
How was it bugged before?
Where it wouldn't activate sometimes if you did it too fast. There was like a weird period in between where sometimes it just wouldn't activate.
I don't think so. Mobile offense. 1 second. What am I doing? It only affects heroes first of all. That's something I don't like about it. But I think it works fine all the time. Let me just go Warp Warfare and Singularity Charge. Yeah. So this is the fastest you can attack it. This is more than 4 times a second, which it's really hard to stutter step this fast. But
Right.
yeah, it's not hitting all of them because I'm not moving all the time. Like I'm clicking to move super fast, but there is a wind up to your attack. You physically can't stutter step that fast. If you could, it might be all right, but I don't think it's bugged.
Okay. Yeah, I think it used to. I just remember somebody showing a long time ago that it was, and I didn't know if that had ever gotten fixed. So that's good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. There is one thing I wanted to mention. There was at one point a strategy where you could. It's hard to pull off, but you attack with a phase bomb. You switch to repeater cannon, and then you attack with phase bomb again. So I'm just going to show it once if I can without talking because I'm hitting my push to talk key and I can't do everything at once. Okay, so what's going on there? You attack with phase bomb and you switch. Your attack speed goes faster while you're in repeater cannon. And so when you switch, you move. So you attack, switch, move, switch back, attack, switch, move. This will give you faster phase bomb attacks. You used to be able to shoot phase bombs at repeater cannon speed. It takes a lot of APM. You have to be perfect, but it does a lot of damage. They patched it a long time ago so that there's a 0.5 second cooldown when you switch weapons. That makes it almost impossible to do properly. You can do it. You gain a little bit more damage if you're using phase bombs. But if you mess up once, if you attack with a repeater cannon once, you're doing half as much damage. So I wouldn't, if you see a guide that shows it off or whatever, I wouldn't bother going for it. It is stupidly hard. I never do it. And I'm a level 309 Phoenix. Like, it's just not worth it. Finally, the last thing I wanted to talk about. Sorry, go ahead. Did you have a question? Okay, never mind.
Sounded like he cut out.
The last thing I really want to talk about are a couple of glitches with Phoenix. Not really glitches so much as interesting interactions. So warp, as I said in the beginning, can juke almost anything if you time it right. So you can warp out of Kael'thas living bomb explosions. You can warp out of last rites. You don't exist for 3/4 of a second, so nothing will damage you. But There are a couple of abilities that will still track you. You still have a position when you warp. So when I click warp, the moment I start teleporting, my X and Y coordinates change to the new location. So if Varian overpowers you and you warp before he gets to you, he will overpower to your new location and be there before you land. So if you're trying to escape Varian and he overpowers you and you like aren't going over a wall or something, he'll be there before you are and still be able to hit you.
Will the skill still hit you, or does it just change his position?
It'll change his position. You won't get the armor reduction. You won't take damage. But it's still weird that he warps faster than you. Illidan's hunt, even if you time it perfectly, which is hard because you don't know where he's hunting from, you can avoid the stun, but he'll still appear on top of you. He'll go to the new location before you, and that's not what you really want. But the way you can use that to your advantage is if you have a Anduin on your team and he has what's it called? His ult.
Light bomb.
Light bomb. Thank you. If he light bombs you, and then you warp, the stun will happen at the new location. So you can see it'll happen over here, and it'll happen before you land. So if you're the full warp build, you can have a light bomb land on top of them, and they're going to be stunned before you get there for a second or whatever, and then you're going to have your armor and your huge damage, and your team can follow in. So that's actually a really good engage, because Fenix warping on top of the whole enemy team sounds bad because he's Fenix and he's kind of squishy. But if you get the stun on the whole enemy team and then you have 50 armor when they come out of the stun and your team follows up, it can be really powerful. And then I guess the very last thing is counters to Fenix. If he goes the warp build, anything that can escape, Zul'jin, Tazdingo, Genji, Tracer, anyone who can run away, they just have to run away for 4 seconds, and then your warp's on cooldown, you can't do anything, and you're really squishy. Any CC, Polymorph, Sleep, Mal'Ganis, if they see it coming and they can hit you with it, Uther, stun, if you warp on top of Uther, he'll just stun you, and then you're dead. So those are things that can counter him. Anything with poke, if you're trying to like do sustain from the back, and they can keep your shields down, so Alarak, Junkrat, Chromie, they just have to hit one skill shot every like 10 seconds to keep your shields down. Your sustain goes away. So there are a lot of counters to them. But if they don't have any of those tools, or if you can keep track of their cooldowns and time it, you can go around those counters, and you can walk all over the team sometimes. Fenix is the best hero in the game, I think, because he's very versatile. He has builds for everything, and Planet Cracker is the best ult in the game because it does that. Any other questions?
So like solo laning against Sonya W build, do you find that it's pretty easy to get out of the extended W? So you're not taking...
Yes and no. If you're going just for range, no. If she's over here and I'm over here, and there's minions between us, you're not gonna it has a huge hitbox and you have a huge hitbox. You're gonna get hit. But if you are off to the side, it's not gonna get you. She has to hit a minion or something else on the way, right? The biggest problem is if she has a lot of health and you go behind your wall, like you think you're safe over here, she can slam your wall and she can finish you off. So you have to be careful of that. Most of the time, Sonya's not so bad. But again, you have a huge hitbox. If she lands a spear and gets on top of you, you better hope that you can warp over a wall, because you're not getting away from her. And
go ahead. Keep going.
I was just say she does more damage than you in close range.
What about Gazlo turrets stopping you from regenning shields? Is this a problem?
Usually, I just stay away from the turrets. Clear the wave. You can pulse bomb the turrets down without, you can get in range, shoot, and get out before they hit you. And then you just, against Gazlo, early game, freeze the wave. Later game, wait till he throws a bomb, and then warp on top of him. At level 7, you're going to do way more than he does. You can kill him off and get out. Or you can do a bunch of damage to him, get out, regen your shields and do it again. So Gazlo, it's a patience game. You can't go in too early, but if you know that you're not going to get ganked and you can have 6 or 7 seconds to warp, do some damage, and stutter and get out, you're going to trade better than he does. So you can't just sit back and poke. You have to burst, run, and you can beat him.
And are there any heroes, like say for a Braxis game or something, that if they pick a solo laner, that you're like, yes, Fenix is just gonna rush this solo lane? Like, who would those heroes be?
Most. One sec. Sorry, Valk. You can probably see him whispering me. Most heroes I like. On Braxis, sometimes people go Rexar. I like it because you can double stack off of him, and as long as you can, not get stunned and blown up, or usually it's a gank that happens when you get stunned, you can out sustain him. And at 7, if you wait for the Misha stun, you can warp on top of Rexar himself and get him super low and sometimes even kill him. Malthael, as long as you don't get hit by the curtain he throws on the ground, you can just stay out of his range and poke him down. If you're up against Imperious, if he gets a spear, you're in trouble. But just never go repeater cannon against Imperious. Just stay at max range and dodge the spear, and then he just has to back off, because once his spear is out, you can just go repeater cannon and waste his HP just disappears. Urel is a little annoying, but again, just stay at max range. You can see when she's going to jump on you, just back away from it. If she does land a jump, wait for the hammer before you warp, because it's almost always right away. And if she doesn't hammer you, then you can just walk away. Trying to think of other solo laners that are common. Zol, you can warp out of the root before it lands, and it doesn't land. His root will come back faster than your warp, so after you've used your warp, you just have to be careful. But you can do more damage than him. The only problem with Zol is if he goes, I think, Shade Lord at 1, where his shield makes him evade. You can't. If you warp on top of him, you're going to do 0 damage. So you have to be really aware of what he can do. Watch his level 1, and don't engage too hard. Too early, because you can kill yourself on a Zol really easily. And with his push, he's annoying, but you clear waves really fast. So against the Zol, it's kind of even fight. You clear, he gets skeletons, you clear the skeletons. Nobody really wins that one.
And what's the double soak potential on a map like, say, gosh, I can't remember the name of the map. Towers.
So I like Fenix for double soak. So clearing a wave, you can see there's a huge wave here. You just drop your laser right in the. You stand in the middle, you drop your laser. The wave's gone. Doesn't matter how big it is, it's gone, and you can walk away. The only issue is you're not using the laser on the hero to stack it up.
Right.
But you use 1 laser per wave, it's gone. You can go to the next lane. Next lane, you can just use your phase bombs to kill the wave, which there's no wave here for me to kill. And then you go back and you use the laser on the other wave. You don't stack as well, but he's great at double soaking. He doesn't move faster than anyone, like, Malthael is on a pale horse or whatever. But he clears really fast.
You a double soak build? Are you still taking Q at 1?
If you're going into it planning to double soak, probably not the best idea. That's when I would maybe go Arsenal Synergy, because you will get it stacked up, because you're going to go to the team fight eventually, but it's going to take a long time, and Arsenal Synergy can do amazing things without having to stack up. So you don't, like, if you're double soaking, usually you're trading with the enemy hero and you're not really engaging them too much. But in those times when you do bash into their faces, usually you're double soaking early most of the time. Arsenal Synergy is stronger early, So if you're planning a double soak, I'd say that's a good choice. But advanced targeting is still a good choice too. So that's more personal preference.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I'm happy to answer any more questions. I know the time is up. I know there's other things going on, but even, you know, outside of this, if you have any more questions about Fenix, you can ask me anytime, Discord or in game or whatever. Happy to help.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Thanks for the
Very
info.
informative.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, go enjoy the other stuff. I'm gonna close this down.